But
Mhm.
fellas, one last topic. We did last week for the West Coast for my man Tupac. Favorite Snoop Dogg song by classics from '93. By the way, that album went number one first year with Death Row Records. He had, of course, hits Gin and Juice, What's My Name, Ain't No Fun with the song with Nate Dogg. There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go, champ. But I love. I actually love Lay Low with the one with him. That one too. I
Mm.
also love as
Oh, his no
title
limit
for today's
run.
episode. Drop it like it's hot. So what, champ? I'm gonna let you go first. What is your favorite Snoop song?
Man, look, man, look. So many to choose from, man. But one of my favorite Snoop Dogg songs, man, has to be "Murder Was the Case."
Mm.
I mean, one of them has to be "Murder Was the Case," man. People don't realize this. I don't think this younger generation realized this, man. When Snoop's first album dropped, he had a
Murder
certain
dropped.
case over his head. And, when that song came out, it was just like, wow. And people don't understand this. After that murder case, that's why he changed his name from Snoop Doggy Dogg to Snoop Dogg. So, I mean, that was and that will be a very, very humbling experience for anybody to have to go through to finally be exonerated of a crime that you were accused of. But that was, and arguably one of the best MTV Awards performances that you ever want to see. Coming
94.
out in the casket, coming out in the
Mhm.
there, having the choir out there with you singing, reminiscent of your childhood when you got started as an artist. Usually with artists, it starts in the churches, then it escalates. But "Murder Was the Case" was one of the best songs I have ever heard from Snoop Dogg, man. And that beat, I mean, it was the hard. I mean, Daz is so underrated as a producer, man. That dude Daz. We're not gonna say what he's really called, but that dude Daz is one of the most underrated producers from the West Coast that you've ever want to see, man. Because people don't realize he produced "Ambitions" to a rider. He produced a lot of Tupac songs. People thought it was Dre, but it was really Daz. But for him to come out with that song to explain what he was going through during that time with "Murder Was the Case," a very, very underrated song, man. And let's not forget his. It probably wasn't his song, but we all remember that one song, BRF. And we used to go to the clubs back in the day in order to listen to it. Stuff used to break out when they used to play this song. "Down for My Ends." Everybody,
Oh
everybody.
Falls
yeah.
to
Oh,
murder.
trust. Hey, the no limit, the no limit run. It didn't have the greatest albums, but a lot of the songs were slept on. The no, you can't. You got to put a little respect on the no limit run. You got to. You got to.
Yeah, but yeah, that song "Down for My Ears," that was a and his verse was great when he said "you done too much." So those were two songs that really sparked interest, man. And like I said, man, you see a lot. Hey, like I said, BR, if we saw it, and you may have as well, PSP, man. When they put that song on, everybody used to get rowdy, bro.
Woo,
Everybody get rowdy.
boy.
You could literally hear the floor shaking when they played that song because everybody was bouncing. So
BRF, talk to me, my dog.
Hmm. I gotta say, I do think his No Limit run is slept on in terms of like some of the hit records that came out of that run. He mentioned the Down for My
Mm-hmm.
Woof, Wolf, Wolf. Yeah, I mean him and Magic and Mystical. The beat to that song was like, boy, I'm talking about. Just let me hear you say "woof." Bow wow wow yippee yo yippee, bruh. Come on, man. I love that song from his No Limit run. Um, gosh, my favorite. But I'll say this though, my favorite Snoop song. Oh shoot, another one. Well, one more honorable mention. Still a G thing from his No Limit run. That's a good song. That's another good song as well. Um, but if I had to pick one, if I'm gonna pick one Snoop song, my favorite one, even though I don't think it's technically his song, but how do you go wrong with Ain't Nothing But a G Thing? How do you go wrong with Ain't Nothing But a G Thing? It might not be his song, but he rapped just as much on that song as Dre did. He put just as much impact on this song as Dre did. How do you not? Ain't Nothing But a G Thing. Like, I'm like, bro. That, I mean, one of the greatest instrumentals in the history of hip hop. I mean, the flow is just perfect from the beginning of it to the end. And I mean, my lord, just I for me is for me, like I said, it might not be, I don't, it might not necessarily classify as his song, but nothing but a G thing is one of the greatest songs in the history of hip hop. I love that song. That is one of my all time go to riding in the car on a long trip. That's one of my go to classics right there. If I'm riding, I'm playing. I gotta bump nothing but a G thing a few times on a long road trip. Oh man, I still bump that to this day.
I gotta go with Doggy Dog World.
Not like that.
The video when they all wearing all them suits like it's like 70s, and then you have like the great Pam Grier, you have all the old school cats in the video. That's the type of track for me. But drop it like a sod, man. Drop it like a sod, man. That beat, especially with of course the skateboard P Pharrell himself. I mean, he and Pharrell have some hit classics as well too. Of course, beautiful. Can't ignore that track. But Snoop, man, the melody, the flow. I mean, it's like so smooth. I mean, and like, man, of course, we all know what Snoop does. Of course, not just with the rapping, he is a hell of a football coach. I mean, look at the amount of talent that he's got. I mean, from C.J. Stroud, Deshaun Jackson, and all of them, man. I mean, hey, Snoop ain't nothing to play with, man. He ain't nothing to play with.
Hey, remember when he was at USC, man? I
Yeah.
used to turn TD classes, turn the glasses, but two dollars on the field, turking it. I don't know how the song go, but I did the best I could. But that was a real good one, man. I think that Snoop. Hey, man, look, I will say this to see where Snoop came from, and I will say this about a lot of artists that I grew up on, from Snoop to Jay to a lot of other artists, to see where they came from to where they are now. Because remember back then we were growing up, they were just artists. But to see them become moguls, to see Snoop on a FIBA soccer commercial, to see, how he popularized a lot of soccer. I didn't know
Martha
nobody who,
Stewart. He was
yeah,
Martha Stewart.
yeah. I didn't see not one dude from where I was from wear a soccer jersey into Snoop. I mean, and not only that, man, it was, man, look, Snoop is arguably, and people don't realize this, man. Before Pop came to Death Row, Snoop was the man. When I never forget, Snoop said at one particular interview, we could do a bar check when it comes to the Pop and Biggie era. I was definitely over the bar. He said, because remember when Tupac came to Death Row, I was the man. And hey, man, Snoop was so special back during those Death Row days and the No Limit days. Remember what Biggie said, the late great Biggie said, even though the East and West Coast was beefing,
Yeah.
I'm sitting in the clear of dreaming about Lear jets and crews, how sharp suits and how to sell records like Snoop's. And remember when he said how to sell records like Snoop, remember what he said in the background? Oops. Like, yeah, we supposed to be beefing, but he still got talent. So I mean, for somebody who you supposedly, I would say, supposedly beefing with to even shout you out of the song during the height of the East versus West kind of feud is very, very special, man. For you to get a shout out and a song from the late great one, that's nothing short of something special, man.
Yeah. BRF, any final words you want to add on to?
Uh, I'll say I'll say this about Snoop. I have him in my top 5 all time as far as lyricists. I think his I think he I mean just you could sense it from like you could sense it from the beginning. Like I said, nothing but a G thing is my favorite song, but just like his flow in that song, and it just like it never, as time progressed, like it never wore off. Like it never, like it was always crisp. It was always on point. And then like even with I guess you want to call it the rhythm and gangster era, like the albums of this century, like whether it was Drop It Like It's Hot or whether it was I Wanna Rock, which is a love slept on underrated song. The beat, he kind of like almost like an old school approach with kind of like the new school flow. Like if y'all ain't heard I Wanna Rock, if you watching and you ain't heard I Wanna Rock by Snoop, download that SoundCloud, Spotify, I don't care, whatever you use, find that song. I'm telling you, I will get you on a new song tonight. Play that song by Snoop. But yeah, I have him in my top 5 all time as far as lyricists. He's just he was never like there was never any drop off for him. There was never any drop off. Just I think he's one of them that could probably do it forever if you let him. He's that talented. He's that gifted, and I don't. There won't be another one like him. He is a one of a kind artist, and just what he's become today. Like what Champ was talking about, what he's become today. Entrepreneur, mogul, just everything that he's dipping into. You wouldn't expect it from where he was, like, from murder was the case and what he was going through then to what he is now. Just he's a legend, icon, whatever name you want to put on him. Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. He owns it now, so it's like,
yes.
I mean, come on, man. What can you say about the man that ain't been said? What can you say about that man that ain't already been said?
Yeah. Hey, guys, before you end the show, PSP, let's not forget 187.
187. Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can't finish it. Don't finish it. You don't want to get canceled. But yeah, don't forget 187.
Oh yeah, that from the movie Deep Cover. Yeah, that was a great one.
The Deep Cover, yeah.
But yeah, that was a good one too. But that Chronic album, oh, him and Dre, man, that was the thing. But Doggy Style, it ain't no fun till the homie can get. I love that track, man. Love me some Nate Dogg.
Man, bro. We talking about all these songs. You know what song we ain't even mentioned yet? We ain't even mentioned Still DRE yet from Drake from the 2001 album. We ain't even mentioned that. We ain't even mentioned that. We ain't even mentioned that banger yet. Like, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of one of the greatest instrumentals of all time, Still DRE. Oh my God.
Absolutely. But next week, folks, for the Sports PSP pod, we gonna do a favorite Busta Rhymes track. So stay tuned for that.